It's the English and English podcast.
Take two. That's
Take
Brent.
two. That's Eric. And if
we
you don't know,
just had some technical difficulties.
You can't know, actually, so.
In case you guys were wondering what our insanely high-tech setup is here, it's a snowball mic nestled on a little cardboard contraption. It seems like with only two things, the computer and the mic, not much can go wrong. Well, something went wrong with the computer.
Probably the computer.
With the one of them. Yeah, with the computer. So now we're on a different computer because it was giving a shit. But I was looking over here.
It's a new year.
We
covered that last
new year,
time.
New problems.
Right. And if we didn't have a podcast for a while, it was just a long holiday events and travels and things like that.
I was looking and I saw your headphones over here. And it made
Those
me think...
are tight headphones, by the way.
Tight as in sweet?
As in sweet.
Yeah, they look cool.
Yeah. They're not that expensive, and it's like a Logitech G series. Like, I'm dead to the world with those things on.
Cool. I saw at Target one of the better things that I saw there when my girlfriend was doing some Christmas shopping. They had these boxes that were printed with fake products meant to like troll people.
Right, so you could wrap them, use them as wrapping.
Like put your real present inside of it, but they were like surprisingly shitty. Like one was like this computer game for like sort of like a Wii. But it was all like chores. Like it had like a white plastic like mini rake. Right, it showed someone like raking the leaves and the family's watching. I'm like, yeah, and it's like fake.
That's
raking
hilarious
leaves.
idea.
And one was
like Wiimote accessories.
Exactly,
looked like
but it was a
broom.
whole game. The games were just chore games,
right?
And like folding laundry and shit. And one was like these headphones that were like Beat by Dre's, but they came up with this really fake like rip off version, like like tones by so and so. It was like this ghetto rap, like not ghetto in like the sense that most rappers, but ghetto in like a nobody,
not
like
well
a bush
made,
league, like just like just like a nobody, like some like fake rapper.
Not tones by T-Pain, but like tones by
like Beats by Dre,
Crack Dog,
tones by like some fake name. It was hilarious.
Tones by Street
Dog.
Dog.
That was actually pretty good product. I hadn't seen those, but especially for some place like Target. Like I figured that stuff exists maybe, but
is that tones by Zinc Tooth? Like you can't,
Zinc Tooth.
Yeah, you can't get gold. You can't get silver. It's get Zinc Tooth.
It's better than Cavity Tooth.
Right, yeah. Better than no tooth.
Or Toothless.
Yeah, Toothless.
Tones by Toothless. Yeah, that's hilarious.
All right. Well, we have prepared the topic.
A topic.
Just going, since it's kind of the beginning of the new year, retrospective on the old. Thinking about the past couple years, and just
I don't know what got me thinking about this a while back, but I thought of just a couple good movies. I was like, you know what, these are good. So I went back to try and find all my favorite movies from the past 5 years.
So we're roughly, without being real stringent about it, 2010
and also because
2015.
So roughly in that time frame, but also going to say that I didn't do an extremely exhaustive search. So there may be some great. These aren't necessarily my favorite.
These are just good movies from the last 5 years.
These are just good movies that you should definitely check out.
All right.
From the last 5-ish years.
Yeah.
And Brett made a list too, but his is probably even less exhaustive because he did it like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, like 5 minutes. You know, I had other important, busy adult with many important things to do.
Yeah.
And
all right. So what do you got so far? I'm imagining we're going to have some...
We have some overlap.
Some overlaps because we did not consult each other.
No. I'm sure we will. Start off.
Okay. My first one... These are not in any order of either time... Or
mine are marginally by time, just because I went down a list when I was of movies by release date.
Yeah.
To remind myself of what movies came out specifically within the last 5 years, not just some of my favorite movies, you know.
Right.
And then it turns out that was 6 years old or some shit.
Right. Yeah. So my first one is Jack Reacher.
I figured that was going to be on there. I actually put that on there for the year in question that came up. Jack Reacher was on my list. It's not for probably. If we were doing rankings, I probably wouldn't put it as high as you. But
I really like it for whatever reason.
Well, they just don't make that kind of straightforward kind of action
very
movie
straightforward
like that
action
anymore.
movie. Really like what he did with the character. There's a lot of people who were big fans of the books who didn't like Tom Cruise simply because
he's characteristically very different.
Physically, he's so differently from the character. Like I think I've read a couple of the books now, and I think he did fine job of the
attitude of the character
and the atmosphere, and they sort of did some weird things in the movie where they like sort of treated him as though he were still huge physically, which is weird.
Because part of the thing in the books is that he's so big that people kind of back down and are intimidated by him. A lot.
And not even in like the fight, because he could be a good fighter, but like there was a particular scene where they were like, "Who are you looking for?" and they're asking the hotel clerk, and he was like, "Someone who could kill a girl with one punch," and they're like, oh, you want the guy in room 303 or whatever, you'll see.
Yeah.
Like, no, he does not look intimidating.
Right, yeah,
you know
exactly.
I mean? They made him an awesome, intimidating character. Right. I mean, I don't even know if that's a direct line from the book, but they just tried to make it seem like he was so gritty. And like, he is not physically intimidating. And it doesn't really matter, especially with the way they made the character for the movie. But, had a nice fart.
Yeah.
But it was still a carryover that they wanted him to be physically intimidating. It's like, well, sorry, you picked a guy who's not physically intimidating. You can't can't really go with that line of movie making if you wanted The Rock or something.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a little different if you had got. Woo! Thanks for adding.
I don't know if that's going to show up on the mic. I guess we'll find out.
If nothing else, our reactions are showing up from the mic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that one's in there. 21 Jump Street was in.
Well, I had that on my honorable mentions, but not in my top 10.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd do that with top 10 or Other Guys. We're both.
I had Other Guys on the top 10.
Other Guys is probably more my.
They're both funny, but I like the.
I think I like the Other Guys a little better.
And then just it touched my soul because it was about just like the fraud and the finances.
Yeah. But also it was like a funnier buddy cop duo.
It was good. And this in particular, I just really liked it.
Although I did like 21.
I really liked
21 Jump Street was like their version of the jock and the nerd.
Right.
And then like they go back to school and now all these granola like
hipsters
are cool. And he's like, all these like they're nerds and they're cool and it's unnatural.
Right? Yeah, it's unnatural. Like they wear this. It's uncool to wear your backpack with only one strap.
Now, yeah,
instead of the opposite.
Yeah,
and they're all like about recycling. And shit.
Yeah, it's like they're recycling and it's unnatural and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's unnatural. Yeah, but I definitely would prefer the Other Guys.
Yeah,
but they're both funny. That was.
There wasn't a lot of good comedies on this list that came up to me.
There weren't a lot. There hasn't been a lot. I mean, I don't know.
Just not ones that got to me where I watched it and thought, oh, that's funny. Like,
there's some.
A bunch of sequel comedies like Hangover 2 and 3. Like the first Hangover was
but and like, a lot of those were fine, but they're not top 10 for the last 5 years.
Or nothing that makes you stand out like, include this in your list of movies you got to see or something.
Right, like a must watch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really what this list is like must watches.
Yeah. So there's some that there's some that I like but don't really make
you have a pen? I want to mark the ones that we've been over.
That don't really make the list of must watch.
Yeah, because I did 21 Jump Street. I have a list of like about 6 or 8 more that are like honorable mentions. So they're like decent movies you may want to check out, but they're not really must watches.
I would put Judge Dredd.
I have Dredd on there too. The new one.
The new Dredd. Yeah, that's true. The new one isn't called Judge Dredd. It's just called Dredd.
And I have that on there as well.
I've heard a rumor that they're doing a Netflix series
with him,
with Carl Urban, with Dredd, and it's going to actually have Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone in it
as
an
elder
judge, like one of the judge council members or whatever, and it's going to have Tom Hiddleston as like the villainous judge, the one who's like up to something nefarious.
Cool. Well, I like the see. I don't think that this one is necessarily quote unquote. Well, it's definitely better than the Stallone one, but to me, there's totally different movies.
Yeah,
it's a totally different take on.
The other one was a cheesy '90s,
and I still enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and this is a totally different movie, and they did it
definitely a less good movie. Just if you look at it as a writing, but it's still entertaining.
It's entertaining.
It
did.
It's like Demolition Man. It's just a movie in that era that was made, for explosive action and ridiculousness.
It was definitely an awesome movie, like the new one.
The new one was cool just because Carl Urban
was a nice,
was
gritty
a perfect
movie, regardless of the
portrayal. Like the fact that he never took the helmet off. Never had a scene where I need to be the hero to take the helmet off.
Yeah, he never took the helmet off. That was awesome.
And he just always frowns, and he's just like
that was a Dredd thing, I guess.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, just that's why it was perfect,
Right.
But this version of it too, like the actual Dredd comics, which I didn't ever read that much, but I just know
I've never read them.
They're very outlandish and crazy.
And that's sort of what they went for.
That's what they went for the first one. This one they made a much more realistic, just super gritty Brazil after America is now a mega city Brazil style after a post apocalypse.
Except more brute force, less bureaucracy.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and.
Yeah, and I thought it was good. I really liked that one a lot.
Yeah, and also I kind of liked, even though it made me kind of miss some of the sci-fi elements, I also kind of liked the fact that it just kind of looked like a shitty mall. Like the whole place just looked like a shitty mall that was overrun with crime, It wasn't like, flying cars everywhere or anything. It was just, this mega city that was literally built on top of the old one, and then every so often there were newer buildings that they had and newer kinds of technologies puncturing it, but it wasn't like, all flying cars and like maglev railroads or whatever funkiness,
Exactly.
But that's kind of the fun part of the old one, but it's also kind of what makes the new one feel a bit more grounded.
So Dredd, we got Dredd.
Other
guys, we got Dredd. Yeah, I really like Dredd. We got Jack Reacher. I'll go next. I really liked the Nightcrawler movie.
I completely forgot about that.
I really like that. I'm really surprised.
I would put that one in the must-watch category. Like even if I don't
for
know
different reasons.
Yeah,
it's not. It doesn't have the same like.
Here's the other one that I would say that follows this same paradigm.
Yeah,
I would say, like Interstellar. I'd say Interstellar.
I was not a great fan.
I liked that movie, but I think it's like one of those ones that like both Nightcrawler and it. Yeah. I'm not sure everybody's gonna like them.
Yeah,
but you kind of gotta watch them because they both do something that's like you need to see this once. You know what I mean? Like Nightcrawler was one of those movies where the actor gave a performance that this character is despicable, but you can't stop watching it.
It's one of those where he's a really weird, creepy character. But
he's like an Asperger, someone sociopath
who is as distinct and everything. Because there's a lot of actors, and even though they're good actors, it's always just them. They're like Tom Cruise,
Jack Nicholson.
but it's like here's Tom Cruise as a Nazi soldier. Here's Tom Cruise as this. But
here's Jack Nicholson as a gangster, or Jack Nicholson.
This is one of those movies where he literally became a different person. You don't even think about like this being Jake Gyllenhaal. It's just this weird ass dude.
Right.
It's that much of like a departure, not just from him, but from just normal human behavior. And so it's obviously well acted, well made. I had issues with Interstellar beyond just not really liking it.
It ended weakly because it went to 2000.
Well, the whole premise was just shaky. It was so shaky that I could never get behind it.
What part of the play?
Well, for me, this is off our list, but we didn't talk about Interstellar before.
I guess not. Probably did.
Anyways, for me, the main issue was they're trying to get off the planet because of this plague, right?
Right.
And they find this potential place, and they have to get through the wormhole or whatever to get to this other planet that would sustain life.
Yeah.
So they have the issue of being able to travel there, and also the issue of finding which planet it is. I guess it's inhabitable. So anyway, so he gets through the wormhole and figures that part out, I guess. And when he comes out 50 years later, they're waiting. They've solved at least the travel problem, the gravity problem, and they're on the spaceship waiting to go through the wormhole when they figure that out. So the issue is, and everything's fine on the spaceship. They've got a nice little society there and everything. And like, there's nothing that you could do on this spaceship that you couldn't have just done on Earth. Like, do they all of a sudden don't need, like, there's no problem with growing food anymore?
Right.
Like, that was the whole reason they had to leave.
One thing they didn't talk about, and that they could, like I said, the ending got weak because it didn't, like, address some of these things they could have addressed just to make it, is that, maybe this is only, like, the 10,000 people that got picked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But even still, it didn't, like, why couldn't they have just made a closed dome on Earth? Why did it have to be a spaceship? Anything they could do in a spaceship, you could do it in a closed ecosystem on the planet.
The plague option, made it seem less dire to get off the planet because
getting off the planet doesn't change anything if you can't grow food.
Well, I mean, they could grow food. Like the implication was something was wrong with the planet somehow, but it was weak.
It was weak because they only presented it as a blight of certain plants. Even it wasn't like
it was
some
a blight of
vague,
all edible plants except corn. Eventually, like all they could grow was corn.
Yeah, that's sort of how they presented it. But so, like, what were they eating on this fucking spaceship?
Corn. I mean, but yeah.
Anyway. No, I don't think so. I mean,
well, that's what it showed. There was cornfields in the end. Like there was cornfields in the.
Okay, so they've been surviving. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I just thought it was weak.
But yeah, but it's one of those things where like.
It was
like a lot of movies.
Terrible.
The stuff that kicks off the action and the stuff that kind of wraps up the action are both kind of like plot hole full.
Right.
But it's the in between.
I mean, I get it that in any movie, especially sci-fi movies, there's certain things that you just have to accept. And I'm actually more happy when they're just like, this is the way it is, deal with it, don't try to explain it. Because when you try to explain something that's not real, there's always going to be little holes. But this one was just they didn't even bother making up a reason that didn't need an explanation. Like this one sort of needed an explanation, and they didn't really have it.
I got you. Yeah, I still just enjoyed it as like
No, it wasn't terrible. I just wouldn't watch it again, probably.
Yeah,
it's too long, and just like I know what happened, so.
Yeah, I still like it. I'd probably add it to my collection, but yeah, it's not like something I would be watching. It's not one of the things I watch because I feel like watching a movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's. And I don't know if Nightcrawler would be either necessarily because it's
same here. I don't think I would go back and watch it
to be entertaining, but it was a great performance, and it's a very different kind of movie.
So different than anything else you'll watch. And it's the most like unique of all the movies on this list, basically. Because even in the way that something like Dread or other things are really unique in the plot, there's still just like an action movie, right? The really archetypal type stuff.
Nightcrawler was just
because it's not really he's not really a protagonist. He's a protagonist, I guess, but he's not a hero. He's not a good guy.
Right.
It's a very unique.
He's a very
plot.
Like
the subject matter is unique. I've never seen another movie about that.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a definitely a good one there. Let's see.
Next, and then
I put Winter Soldier on there. That's still my favorite.
I have Captain America 2 also.
Yeah, it's still my favorite of the Marvel ones.
And I still haven't been able to find out if it's just because I like the message so much, or if it's really that good of a movie. But does it really matter?
Right? Yeah. Like I know I can't be 100%
like,
objective.
Freedom and spirit. I'm like, fuck yeah, it's right. You tell him, Captain.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping. That's why I'm nervous about the new one, because that was what was so cool in the comics. Is that whole Civil War thing?
Speaking of which,
was Captain America going?
I had a quick question.
No, God damn it, this is America.
I have a quick question about that, because I don't know anything almost at all about the Civil War storyline other than what you've told me briefly. Probably most of it's on these podcasts. But from my understanding, I thought it was more along the lines of the government's deciding that the empowered people should be controlled to some extent, and some people are for that for like good reason, or they think it's a good reason, even though they're good guys are for it and some people are against it. Right. But in the movie, it makes it seem like the main thing is they're trying to get the Winter Soldier.
Yes, that's why I'm worried that some other people are, because they're making it a smaller deal.
Much smaller, much more personal. Much more personal.
Probably because they just want to make it A, less political, B, less budget than making it all about around the world.
Less implications for the universe. Because when you think about it, that's the original
Civil
War storyline by design involves the entire Marvel universe.
Right. Well, everything in the United States involved. All the heroes that lived in the United States.
True. Not the. But I mean, there's still implications for everything in the Marvel universe.
And it also did set up the next couple of years of comic books were affected by this idea that some guys were outlaw
like Captain America is fighting these other Marvel guys right now, so that affects the other storylines.
Right. Yeah.
So from the previews, it made it look like, and hopefully they'll just make that as like a kind of like a Archduke Ferdinand moment for it, and not the whole plot.
Right. Because that's what was so cool about the plot to me, was it made it like Captain America taking a stand on an issue of, and being
not just on a personal,
not just like, oh, he's my friend, which is like the tagline,
right?
The
and that's why I was like,
it's cool, but it's also,
I think different.
Here's the thing. I think some of it is they are toning it back a little bit from what they've shown in the trailers.
Yeah,
they're toning back just for scope, and they're just to make it more personal as of a story. And also, a lot of it is probably the trailer. They don't want to show everything.
Exactly. Which is fine with me. It makes me just a little bit like...
But yeah, it does make me a little worried too, because...
But they could easily make it like, because of this guy, they like pass some resolution. They're like, there have to be these controls.
In the trailer, it shows the document they hands him. It says the Slovakia Accords or whatever.
And that's part of what...
Slovakia or whatever it was is the city that was in Avengers Age of Ultron that got lifted up and got smashed to hell with the Avengers.
Right. So that makes it seem like there is some more scope to it.
In the comic book, the premise was there was a team of teenager superheroes. One of those sidekicks teams called the New Warriors. And they were running around, and at this time in Marvel Comics, they were a reality TV show. Like, reality TV was falling around and falling MTV is here with these superpowered teenagers.
It was like cops with Avengers. But...
Right, yeah, exactly. And so they go up against this one guy whose power is to basically cause explosions. It's a comic book, so it's absurdity. His name is Nitro. He can just literally explode himself. Like, energy waves come out of him, and it explodes around him. Everything around him vaporizes, and he's still there.
He's like a human bomb.
He's a human bomb that can just discharge his energy and go off. And so they throw down with him, and this guy's a psychopath, and it goes out of the hidey home, the safe house that he's holed up in, and he blows up a school. Yeah, and he blows up a school and kills 300 kids.
We have to control.
And so then it becomes a hot button issue in the government. They're like, we need to control superpowered people. They need to not be running around.
This wouldn't have happened.
This wouldn't have happened if. And what was cool about the storylines, it mirrored a lot of ideas about gun control and personal freedoms and all these kind of things. But of course, without being open about it.
Right.
And
I imagine there's some sensitivity to that in what
I'm saying that's probably why they went away from it, especially because they also.
But that's what I so liked about the second one is it seemed like they were like, oh yeah, well this, and it was right during
strikes,
it was right during all this stuff, and they weren't afraid to be.
It was real bold,
right? And I like that.
And it was also just
also fit with the character. Yeah, it was obviously a good.
It felt
movie.
like a pretty tight thriller movie, wrapped in a Captain America costumed heroes thing. Right. It felt like a political thriller where a government conspiracy to make, spy on the citizens and drone strike them from, near orbit,
Exactly.
And it's like, oh.
So anyways, so we can move on. But that was interesting for my thoughts on that. But I definitely have Captain America 2 on there.
Yeah, yeah. That was another unfortunate thing, too. They had to end the comic book series weekly because, just not to digress for too much longer.
Weekly?
Yeah, it ended it.
Oh, it ended
on a week note because, they couldn't have the storyline be where Cap won.
Right.
Because then the next,
like the United States,
over, like they would surrender this idea of registering superheroes, and then it would go back to like normal, I guess. Right. Sort of. They wanted to have this setup where things were different. Some heroes were, so they had it. They ended it with Captain America turning himself in.
Yeah,
it was kind of weak. But like he turned himself in to stop a fight.
Stop the
basically
violence.
Like. He broke into a prison that all the other superheroes were being... He and his team, that all the other guys that had sided with him were being held in.
Yeah.
Because, like, they were starting to imprison all the superheroes along with the supervillains who wouldn't register.
Yeah.
And so he broke in. It turned into this huge brawl, and they were, like, decimating New York in this fight, like, because all these superpower people... And he was, like... And so, like, he noticed people, like, running for cover and stuff.
From him.
The fight that was going on, like,
right.
and, like, some EMT guys were like, Captain, what are you doing? Because his team was literally winning, but the place was in fire, and so he's like, everybody go into hiding, I'll turn myself in to stop the fight or something. Which was like, sounds like a kind of noble thing, but the cool thing to me would have been like,
I don't think he would do that.
No, he might call his troops to withdraw. Like, if you're a guy who's done military experience,
but he's not going to surrender.
But yeah, like
some guy who like basically was forged not in the World War II.
Right? Yeah,
he's not
exactly.
Surrendering.
You're right. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So that was interesting. So my next one is I've got the well, I might as well just say the original Avengers movie. That was within the last 5 years,
that
barely.
Was too.
But I really, really like that one.
Yeah, that's another case where
to me, I still think it's probably the best in terms of its pure entertainment value of any of the Marvel movies.
Right. Like, I think what's great about those two, Winter Soldier and Avengers, is both of them feel very tight. Like, I wouldn't know what scene to cut if you asked me to cut frivolous.
And
crap.
they did it without feeling like a lot of the Marvel movies have at least some aspect, however small, that feels contrived or forced. Whether they had to get certain plot elements in there for the other movies, or it's just weak and they're just like, this is goofy.
No, you take
those two movies have almost nothing of that.
Right, yeah. Like, you take it in those movies as this is part of the Marvel Universe because you want a movie that connects to other movies.
Right.
So you got to take it, but some of it feels weird.
And I think part of it's because it's the first one, there was very little that they had to have, like, because we didn't know what their plan for the whole story arc was, so all of us knew. Right. Whereas some movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, the whole thing feels like we need to get some of this stuff out of the way to set it up the next movie. So I honestly think the next one will be a lot better than the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Actually, I would put Guardians of the Galaxy.
I really liked it. I really liked it, but I'm just saying it definitely felt like there were aspects that they were just trying to like the whole storyline of them all meeting and stuff was very quick because it had to be. I mean, they wanted to have this team of the Guardians of the Galaxy, so they had to create it really quickly.
Right.
So
versus
the
Avengers, they go recruit 5 guys you've already heard of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's the benefit of that structuring. Like none of the other movies are going to be as slow of a boil as the Avengers now because they've already started.
Yeah.
So whatever.
So Avengers. Yeah, I didn't have Guardians of the Galaxy on there.
Oh, here's an odd one. I don't know if this one's a must-see or just an honorable mention, but I just went down the list and saw that this was in the last 5 years. American Hustle. Did you see that one?
I haven't seen it, honestly.
It was another one kind of like Nightcrawler where it's just a good character drama, And it's one where
I would put
Christian
Wolf
Bale,
of Wall Street as one of those.
I have not seen that, actually. I still got to see that.
Yeah, that's just too crazy.
Yeah, like American Hustle has real good acting from Christian Bale. What's her name? Bradley Cooper, and
I forget who the chick is in that.
It's got 2 leads in it, the female leads.
I think Jennifer Lawrence is in that again.
Jennifer Lawrence and Amy Adams, the redhead. Yeah,
there's just the other redhead who looks like her.
All of them did a good job.
What the fuck is her name? The one who's married to Borat. Isla Fisher.
Oh, okay.
She actually is like normally I can't tell them apart, but apparently she's like Australian.
Right.
And I saw her on Conan, like some clip on Conan O'Brien.
She's speaking with her.
Yeah, she had a normal accent. She had like this dark lipstick on, some like 80s looking dress. Yeah. And I was like, this chick is super fucking hot.
Right.
I don't remember her being this hot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the accent or what. I was like, damn.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah, you're just like, what?
All of a sudden it's like.
Maybe it's just been a few days.
Yeah,
or
maybe.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you just gotta say, remember to wear your makeup, ladies. This is all it takes sometimes.
Well, it wasn't just that she doesn't. Obviously, she wears makeup probably every single time I see her.
You can make a difference. Is what
I think
saying.
it was that and the accent.
Here's one. It's surprisingly another Tom Cruise.
We already said Dread, right?
Yeah. Edge of Tomorrow I thought was fun.
I thought that was great. I wouldn't put it in my must watch.
I don't know if I would either, but I would definitely recommend
good.
it. It's just a fun action movie. It does the Groundhog Day thing, which has been retread since Groundhog Day way too many times and not very successfully. It's the only one since Groundhog Day that immediately springs to mind and makes me think it's fun for doing.
These are all like action and sci-fi movies.
Right. Well,
not all action. Speaking of which, another one that I
American Hustle's not action sci-fi.
That's true. Neither is Nightcrawler. But the Mad Max movie, I thought was very.
I totally
good.
forgot to put that on there.
And I was not because I'm not someone who's affected by preconceived notions. Like if I go in there thinking a movie sucks and it's awesome, it'll actually make it seem more awesome to me.
Right.
Not the other way around. Like some people, they get in their head it's gonna be shitty and they've decided and then they don't like it. That's not me. So I
lowered expectations work in my favor usually.
Right,
just like that.
So I was very wary of Mad Max for a bunch of different reasons. Not just because I thought it was gonna be feminist propaganda or whatever. Which I thought there was a risk, but. You know, it's not enough to stop me from seeing it in and of itself, but just
because it's a
remake,
20-year later
remake.
sequel. Yeah,
there were concerns about like it maybe being some sort of feminist propaganda, or have elements of that, which is not crazy because that's in a lot of stuff. Not like
it's not crazy because the people who make certain movies have explicitly said that it is their goal when they make movies to make these kinds of choices.
And that doesn't even always make the movie not entertaining, but I don't like being preached at either.
Right.
No matter what the issue is. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't like watching a movie to get preached at. So, that being said, it was a very good... It very perfectly captured what was cool about Road Warrior.
Right, yeah. And what was interesting about it
like the weird-ass characters and stuff.
Yeah, like what was interesting about it is the hero characters were less important than the villain characters. What the movie was about. What was cool about the movie was this cult of crone worshipping.
And that guy, for whatever reason, one of my favorite parts is that tank thing, and the guy gets his eyes like shot out by shrapnel, and then he still like just fires his revolvers blindly while they're charging.
Tank tread, like it's like a Camaro with tank treads attached, and he's got a turret built into the top, and he's just holding 2 AKs, finding blindly.
He had like handguns. Like once he gets blinded, he was
he was just like shooting blindly into the.
Oh no, he had some sort of automatic.
Yeah, he had like these like AKs or like MP5s or something.
Yeah, I think.
And he's like just spraying automatically into the fog.
You
know, he's like,
he was blind.
You know,
he'd already been blinded.
Blinded.
Put a blindfold on and then was just like shooting.
And like the one guy who rules Oil Town's all like bloated and like got goiters.
And he has like weird holes in his shirt for nipple cramps.
Right, yeah. And everybody's and he's got like attendants wiping him down as he's like, power me forward. And the other guys are like, witness. And,
that was great.
The coolest thing was the bad guys in that movie.
Right. That was well, same with the Road Warrior itself. Where that was really paying off. Because Mad Max, if anyone hasn't seen the original, is one of those movies where the sequel is like kind of like Rambo, where the second one is the one that everyone thinks of as being, and it's actually quite different from the first one.
Right. The first one's more just like a world filled with crime.
It's more like RoboCop,
story
where like crime is really bad, and the cops are in these super dangerous jobs, so they have to be. It's more like Dredd and Dredd or RoboCop more than it is like the second one.
It's not really post-apocalyptic. It's just
the beginning of Mad Max 2 Road Warrior is like. Then now there's an apocalypse. It's like, what? It's totally different.
Right, yeah. But you don't need to have seen the first one because it just starts with that explanation
and now he's in
a cop is now in the post-apocalypse and the world is ended.
What else you got? I got 3 left on my must-watches, then I got some honorable mentions.
Yeah, I probably... Like, we already covered like the Marvel ones and stuff like that are probably my must-watches.
Okay.
The other ones...
we're trying to get to 10.
Right. I don't have any other.
Well, okay. I liked it, but there was a surprisingly good movie with Jon Favreau called Chef. Did you ever see that?
Yes, I did.
I really liked that.
That was fun.
It was very good.
I don't know if I'd put it as must watch, but I would recommend.
The only one else on this list that you could describe as heartwarming.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But it was really good. I just really liked it.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of
good job of really
simple
capturing
movies that have like just
the character's passion for what he was doing.
It made me hungry as hell.
Yeah,
I just wanted to go.
Well, for me, as someone who doesn't give a shit about cooking, in fact, I actually hate cooking. The fact that I would enjoy it, like they actually still made it seem like this guy really loves what he's doing. And that's what it was about, like him refining his passion for
because he'd been a professional chef for a long time.
So long, making the same meals.
Some restaurant that is it's like a 5-star restaurant.
He was like a celebrity chef, right? But it was still just the same. The owner, Dustin Hoffman's character, didn't want to do anything risky or experimental. Right. He wanted him to make the same.
He realized it wasn't his food; it was the owner's food.
Well, it was the restaurant's food. Anyone, he couldn't come up with new dishes or anything anymore.
Right.
But it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, it's like him and John Leguizamo, and I don't know the kid actor's name, but it was a fun little story too.
And it had Sofia Vergara in it too, which is always a plus.
Right. Yeah.
But okay, so then I have one, and this was a movie that I came out a while ago, and I was really. Another one that I did not think I was going to like it. Yeah, was Pacific Rim.
And I would
really
put that
was
surprised
by
by
how much I liked it.
That's a pure fun kind of movie.
It is, of course. Most of these are like ridiculous. It's pure fun. But I was surprised. I was just so surprised at how much I liked it. I thought it was really gonna like. I really don't like the classic anime giant robot shit.
Yeah, well, this one was,
and to me, this was a perfect template for what like the feel that like Transformers should have been.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
what
that's
I mean?
what when I saw it, I was like, so that's what giant robot fights are supposed to look like. You know?
Yeah.
Not only is the cinematography good enough that it's not just like swirling, moving parts like the Transformers
and all this
ones,
weird shit. It's
where
just,
like you just
the look is all different.
It actually feels like there's weight to these things and they're
That's
staggering
what it was.
around.
Yeah,
these
there
buildings.
felt like there was weight to it and everything.
Right. Yeah.
So it was cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I don't know if you put it on your list. Is your list pretty much over?
I've got some other like honorable mentions.
If you'd remembered this, you would have.
What?
John Wick.
Yes,
totally
I actually
badass.
totally forgot
In fact,
that
would probably be my number one.
That would be one
Either
of my
that or Jack
must-watch.
Reacher was my favorite movies for the last
that were
5
like
years.
You could miss it, so I definitely say you must watch it because there's a lot of people who probably missed it.
Right, because there's something like Equilibrium that came out and it's like no one really. Didn't get huge fanfare. There wasn't a lot of.
And it was just a straightforward movie, no special hook.
No hook. There was not a lot of us advertising leading up to it. Not a real in-depth, well, not an in-depth at all plot, but just totally badass.
Right, yeah. The plot is they kill his dog.
They kill his dog and steal his car, and so he kills everyone.
Right, yeah, exactly. With a bit more explanation.
It's one of the ones where you're just in the theater and
he's
like, ha yeah!
It's like a classic revenge one where he's just like, this guy was like a former mob assassin.
Right, and now
his wife dies and he's depressed. She left him a dog, like that she bought right before she died. Is like, I don't want you to be alone. Stop moping. Here's a dog. I'm gonna die from cancer. You can't stop. Love this dog now. I am gone. Love the dog. Right. And it's all supposed to be heartwarming and whatever. But he's like a absolutely quiet kind of guy. Like it doesn't. And so he kind of only has his dog for a few days, and he's got this car that he is like his baby
Mustang.
and. Some like local hotshots that are the Russian mob son who just like they don't have a respect for the old ways. They just stick around.
Yeah, they're just thugs.
Right, just thugs, and so they steal his car. They don't know who he is. Steal his car, and what's
funny
is that John Wick is actually totally unreasonable at the beginning of the movie because the mob boss, the dad,
like, hey,
calls
how can we avoid this?
How can we avoid this? I know that they have insulted you. They have done something unforgivable, but he is my son. How do I repay you? And he's just like, I'm gonna kill him.
Basically like an Independence Day. He's like, die!
Right,
can there be a peace? And John Wick's one is like, no peace.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, can there be a peace? He's like, no, I'm gonna fucking kill your son.
He's like, as long as you're okay with me killing your son, there can be a peace.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like,
he's like,
John,
oh, shit!
John,
exactly. So that's what's so great is that he's not even being like reasonable.
Right, yeah, he's just like, no, you pissed me off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, no.
Like, you're gonna die.
So that's what was funny too. Is like 30 minutes in the movie, and then the mob boss puts the phone down. He's like, shit, hire everybody.
Yeah,
he's like, immediately sends men to kill him. And they fail, and he's
not being unreasonable either.
Right, yeah.
Which is what's so great. Like that's what you would have to do as the mob guy.
Right, yeah, exactly. If this guy says,
because he knows his son, he would have rather his son not do this. If he knew it was going to happen, he would have stopped.
He even apologized for his son, and it was like, my son has done something unforgivable.
But he did it, and so now he's like, well, shit, this guy's going to come try to kill us. He probably wouldn't have tried to kill that particular dude. Because, like you said, he was just going to kill the son, and he's like, "But I can't let this guy kill my son."
Right?
Even though he fucked up.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So it was like,
so he ends up killing everyone.
Right? Yeah, he ends up killing everybody. Yeah.
And to quote last section, in the end, everybody dies.
Yeah, exactly. I can't believe that one did not spring to mind. Yeah, like there's some movies in there, like this.
So that was all my must-watches.
In terms of other honorable mentions, I've got Expendables in the last.
I didn't mention them because the first one wasn't in the 5 years, and the other
first one was. It was 2010. It was just within 5 years.
Okay, that's definitely good. I mean, it was so like I was a little disappointed in how
I was a little disappointed overall with the Expendables,
just because like I mean I definitely enjoyed it, definitely liked it, but I think they could have made it. Tried a little bit harder to do more than just like, hey, watch this movie, all these explosions, all these people.
Right, and a lot of times they just had really brief cameos, like where they didn't utilize the guys they had for fun.
They just literally wanted them to be in the movie.
They wanted their name on the thing.
Right. But they were fun. I watched all of them. They're all entertaining.
They're all old, but it's like, you get Walker, Texas Ranger, you get Chuck Norris, and you don't have him throw a single punch or kick.
Well, I mean, he's like 70 years old.
Right, but have him do something, you know? Like, I know that's part of it. The problem is these guys just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's too long now, but it was cool. I liked it that they did it, and it was fun. They were fun movies, but not quite as what I was hoping for.
Yeah, exactly. The part of it, I think, is they tried too hard to be realistic, unfortunately. They tried too hard to be kind of...
In some ways, and in other ways, they were goofy. So
but they walked this middle line. Instead of being like 90s, like, fireballs, everything, every car blows up. They tried to be realistic, and then, at the same time, have, like, everything exploding. You know, it's like, nah.
It was just strange. But it was still entertaining.
It was still entertaining.
So I just have a list of... I'm just going to read these off, and we can talk about some or all of them. And these are just honorable mentions that are just like, I would check these out. If you get a chance, check these movies out. Which I like the movie Warrior.
I didn't see that.
There's this movie called Win-Win with Paul Giamatti about like a wrestling...
Yes, I did see that. That was fun.
And it had a really good line that I liked from that. He was talking about...
Okay, let's drill whatever it fucking takes.
Yeah, exactly. Where he's like, one kid comes onto the team who like they're all.
It's a team about. He's a
terrible.
wrestling coach.
The guy, like this lawyer, he's having financial troubles. He's a coach on the wrestling team at the high school, and they're all terrible. All the kids are terrible.
He's having a bad time in life. And he comes across this kid who's basically abandoned.
But is a fucking phenom at wrestling.
Right.
So he finds out he's really good at wrestling, and he's like, so what do you do to get off bottom? He's like, I just imagine like I'm drowning, and I gotta do whatever the fuck it takes.
Right.
Like, all right, so let's drill the move. Whatever the fuck it takes.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like,
and then when they're in the match, he's like, remember the move. Whatever the fuck it takes.
Right, yeah. And I think I remember the ref was like, hey, you can't say that at a school match.
Like, all right. Or he just kind of looks at him weird. Yeah. I actually decently like that movie Crazy Stupid Love with...
I don't know. I saw that.
Ryan, what the fuck is the guy's name? The Hey Girl guy.
Oh, yeah.
And
Gosling and...
Ryan Gosling and the guy from 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, and Carell.
Steve Carell. Yeah, and a couple
where he's like an older guy who's like now...
And I like that movie In Time with Justin Timberlake.
That was fun. It's one of those esoteric kind of like thought idea movies.
Right, where none of it really works out when you think about it. You're like, what? That wouldn't work.
Right, yeah. Well, just in the function. Like, the idea of the premise actually works really strong.
I like the premise, right. But
the way that the arm timers work and the fact you can just take the time
that's what was so weird.
Like
you could just forcefully take it. I was like, there would be mayhem.
The idea that it turns out they're gating immortality because the
really
leaders just like literally don't want that many people.
With the flaws, like I said, it was one that they didn't... They just accepted it. That's the way it is, and they built a movie around it. I can deal with that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was just kind of lower budget and whatever, but it was cool.
I liked it. Yeah. And it was unique. There was a movie Faster with The Rock, where a revenge movie.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
But it's worth watching.
Yeah.
I've got 21 Jump Street. Movie Safe with Jason Statham. Really good fight choreography. Very straightforward. Not much to it.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what I have for honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And Wolf of Wall Street, too, I should be on there.
Gotcha. I got honorable mentions of Expendables. Yeah. Book of Eli, I think, was in the 2010.
Interesting.
And so that one was kind of fun. And then, like, Tron Legacy comes up in my thing.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed in that.
I still just... The aesthetic and the music
was great, yeah.
Like, the movie is very simple, so it's luckily simple enough that it can't really be bad.
Yeah, right.
But they just kind of did some stuff that's like, you're wasting what you're doing here with this.
Right,
property.
By only doing this.
Right.
And that's kind of what it felt like to me, is it just never really got going or something.
Right, and they started off with some ideas, like throwing in the premise of these ideas that don't really come to any... Like, you could have gotten rid of the whole idea of, like, that other kind of digital being, and then,
that's
what's the plot point of that was... Only
like copies of them or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be like they evolved on their own instead of being created.
But there was no real reason.
But there was no real reason for that to happen other than to set up a reason for why Clue would betray the users.
Right.
Is that he was tired of these new guys being the pets and like, you know.
You could have just made it like a...
You could have made some other reason, like he was like, wait a minute, you guys made us to be your
slaves.
We're building this world not for our benefit, but for the benefit of users that'll eventually populate it.
Right.
Fuck you, you know, like it kind of thing. Like that couple subplots that had no point.
Now there's, and also, do you have any more? Because I have a Hall of Shame too.
No. X-Men First Class was in amongst there.
I thought it was decent.
I thought it was decent. It was probably the best of the X-Men ones, but the X-Men has been crappy.
That's not saying a whole hell of a lot,
unfortunately.
But, yeah.
But that's just if we're going on nerd ones there. In terms of
what's that?
Other ones, what was it here? I have it here.
What's that noise?
Somebody's working on a car outside.
Oh, I just said.
Yeah.
What the hell one honorable mention I forgot because I wrote it off the side. It's an independent movie, Turbo Kid.
Yes.
Did you ever see it?
No, I saw it with you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you saw it with
that one is fun.
Yeah.
That one I would put it almost one of the must watch if you like old.
That's the only reason I did it is
movies.
because it wasn't like a tip. It's just an independent movie, so it's not.
I completely forgot about that because it didn't show up on the list because it was like some.
Same with not Metalocalypse. What the hell was it?
Oh,
did you see that one with us?
I saw that with you. I didn't like it as much, but it's just not my
funny,
shtick, but it was still funny. Yeah, like the... I can't remember what that was called.
Deathgasm.
That's
what it was.
That was fun.
Another in New Zealand.
It was like a New Zealand independent one or whatever. Yeah, but another one on there that I kind of liked. This you would it's an honorable mention because you only like it if you like other Wes Anderson movies, but that like Moonrise Kingdom one.
I haven't seen that.
probably not your shtick.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun because it's like about like a kid who's like in a scout troop and he decides to like run away from home and he's using all his scout, and it's done in the very fairy tale-esque version that Wes Anderson always does. But it's got kind of fun stuff where like
I've heard a lot of people like
Edward Norton, is like leading a scout troop and he ends up in there and like Wes Anderson has a kind of fun, quirky characters.
This is not a movie, but definitely worth checking out. Was the Netflix series of Wet Hot American Summer?
Yes,
this is fucking hilarious.
That was hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's hilarious that it's a series and it's all supposed to take place during one day.
And they're all supposed to be 15. They're all like closer to 50.
And it's supposed to take place before the movie,
right?
So they're all older now.
Yeah.
than they were.
And it all took place in like it was all like the first day of camp.
Right?
And it's like, give me a break.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that was the conceit of the movie too. That it was all like the last day of camp, and yet
But the movie, I don't remember the movie being that ridiculous.
Well, no, because it wasn't that many hours in the end. Like this was.
No, I mean just like in general, like the jokes and the humor.
No.
Like the guy getting turned into a can of vegetables. Right. Like that type of shit was not happening.
Right. No. Well, I mean there was the can of vegetables that talked, but you thought it was in that guy's head. In the movie.
Right.
You thought it was him.
So now they went ahead and made it not.
Made it like that. It's actually some guy gets turned into a can of vegetables. Right. Yeah.
So that was hilarious, but not a movie.
But we won't go too far down the rabbit hole of TV shows because I got other TV shows.
Yeah,
that I can
I was just gonna say.
So let's do the best of the worst.
The Hall of Shame, Cloud Atlas. I thought it was crap.
I didn't see it. That's
definitely
a lot of these I'm probably not going to have seen because I've just avoided.
Yeah, you probably would. I mean, I have Transformers on there because they're just
I don't even know if any of them came out. Like
some of them have. Yeah. I don't know. The first one was probably before 2010, almost certainly.
Yeah, the first one was
because now we're on 5 or 6 or whatever.
Yeah, something. I didn't see the most.
And they haven't been making one every year. Willy Wonka, terrible.
Oh yeah,
the new Willy Wonka, terrible.
It made Willy Wonka, which was already
like
kind of
creepy
goofy,
pederast.
but it just made him a pederast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just like he just made him like
kids
an
if you fucked with a candy cane or something.
Bizarre.
And they made it like a mental health issue where it's like he's abused by not allowing any candy and so
they made it where he has this candy factory because he's a tortured soul, not because he's some sort of candy wizard or eccentric millionaire. You
started to watch this. Neither of us finished it. The movie Locke, where the guy's like driving and we're Tom Hardy's in a car. We were in Wisconsin when we were watching this.
I can't remember this.
And he's like, because we were about to go to the airport, so we popped in that movie with Dad, and it's like Tom Hardy, and he's on the phone in his car. We turned it off after like 30 minutes, realizing this guy's never getting out of the car.
Oh,
the whole movie takes place with him, and he's like cheating. He's got his mistress pregnant. There's this huge.
I blanked that completely.
I know, it's terrible.
It was like a British movie.
And it was supposed to be like, oh, look at the acting. Yeah, maybe, but. You have
it's one day acting where he's just talking into a phone.
Yeah, literally the entire time.
The whole thing was that he was leaving.
He had a huge construction
project
to meet his mistress having a baby.
To meet his mistress having a baby, and he's
and it's like over the holidays.
He's telling his subordinate to stop freaking out. You're the foreman now.
You can handle this concrete pour. It was like a giant concrete pour for a ball or something.
And then he was like telling his wife. And
he's sorry, but this girl's pregnant.
I'm sorry, this girl's pregnant. I got her pregnant. I got to go to her in the hospital.
And then the girl saying like, yes, I'm going to be there. I'm in traffic. I'll make.
You're making a lot of bad decisions.
Right. First of all, this is fucking boring as hell. If I wanted to listen to this shit, I'd just go get some girl pregnant.
Yeah. Exactly. And then I wouldn't be at the hospital. Right.
So, and then getting a double whammy with what the fuck is his name? Alice in Wonderland, the new one, terrible.
Oh,
I didn't finish it either.
Like I said, a lot of these ones that are on your list here, the shame. I probably didn't make one because I simply managed to avoid.
I mean, that was it. That's all I put on there because not most of them are just bad enough. They're just forgettable.
Yeah, exactly.
But the ones that stuck in my mind, like I wanted to leave Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Like I saw my girlfriend was like, "Can we get the fuck out of here?" And she's like, "No, make it better." And I'm like, "This is terrible." And Locke, we turned it off. Alice in Wonderland, I turned it off.
Yeah, it was one of the last movies I ever turned off. Like
usually, I suffer through it. Well, that was terrible.
Right, or like you said, it's terrible enough that it's
curiosity alone wants you to see what happens. But like with Locke, you're like, nothing has happened. Nothing's going to happen. Like it's not like all of a sudden there's gonna be a roadblock, terrorist, and and he has to fight him off.
Or I thought he was gonna get to the hospital.
Yeah, I thought something was gonna happen.
Would happen. You know? Right. But no,
it's all just the car.
He's in the car for 3 hours. Oh god. Right. Oh god.
Yeah. So that was my.
Well, since we've made this a movie-focused one, and I think we'll probably just keep it movie-focused and wrap it up here soon.
No, I thought you were going to start on Star Wars.
Yes.
You want to? Do you think we have time?
We are at 45 minutes.
All right, let's do it.
So we can do a brief one.
Let's nerd out.
Spoilers because
if you
haven't seen it, you're too late.
But we are going to talk about everything that happens in the movie. So
right. Well, like the thing is, I don't think I would go too far on it because this is what I've talked to other people about it, and of course some people disagree, and I understand why, because I think it is well made, and I think it is entertaining. The problem is it's well made as a ripoff of Episode 4.
It was almost scene-for-scene remake of A New Hope. And I know why...
I would say not that. I would say it is theme-for-theme remake. Every single premise is
but when you think about that, like, think about how this works. Like, there's a droid fleeing from the Empire with secret plans, lands on a desert planet.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's not scene for scene, because it's not like the same shots,
well, I know,
and the action sequences are different.
Line for line,
right, but yeah, like script-wise, it is... Story-wise, if you give up outline, it's almost a mirror image. The outline is a droid carrying secret knowledge, gets lost on a desert planet, gets found by a lone person who wants to...
Whose family has left
them on the desert.
Suspiciously force
sensitive.
Right.
And then gets caught up in the rebellion.
And first of all, gets stuck with Han Solo and Chewie in the Millennium Falcon.
Right.
Where they have to evade the Empire. And then
the steps they use to get to these things is different. That's why it's not
shockingly close.
Shockingly close.
Even when you talk about like the Death Star, like they're sneaking around the Death Star. One of the people dies. They get him out of the prison. It's just like so similar.
Right. And
the Death Star is even fucking round. It's just like bigger. They do everything is the same.
Like some things were kind of cool. Like I like the idea of the Death Star actually having an atmosphere on it. Like
it's
a planet big enough that it's built into.
That they built into.
Right. And so like you can literally stand on the surface.
Cool, but I was like,
but it's also just a retread.
Yeah.
You know. And now here's funny. If they had gone certain ways, it could have been okay. Like if they had gone and said at the beginning of this movie when there's like another Death Star and they're like, dude, did you think the Empire was going to stop at one?
Yeah.
Why would they ever stop at one?
Right.
They have factories out there that you don't realize, planets being hollowed out. Like, they've had 50
this thing
years.
Has been being built for 50 years.
They've been building these things for 50 years. They're going to keep making them because why would you stop at making planet-killing devices?
And in general, also, like you said, the caveat, it was a good movie, it was entertaining, and if it wasn't for any of the other Star Wars movies, none of these complaints would even exist.
But that's what's so weird about it. But here's my thought on it, is like, the problem is why it just doesn't feel quite as good as it could have been, is because, like I said, since it's just such a retread, it was very well made, but it seems like they got J.J. Abrams because he knew how to make nerd shit. Like, you revived Star Trek, you can revive this.
Right.
Well, they hired him because what he is he's the nerd wrangler is what he is.
He makes nerd movies for normal people.
Well, not only that, he makes nerd movies for Hollywood executives who need to milk nerds.
Right.
Disney spent $4 billion getting the LucasArts rights, and now they needed someone they could guarantee. And he's like, you know what? I know the perfect guarantee.
Make it exactly
make the other movie again.
Right, and
but this time
it worked.
Right, it worked
better than Episode 1. I'll give him that.
Right, yeah. Like I said,
and that's not even my main complaint. It's just weird. Like seriously,
but that's what I'm saying. Like the craft was there. The craft was skillful.
Right,
but the art was hollow.
And the main thing was my main complaint is. The Kylo Ren character, like he was for the first few scenes at the end, he was intimidating, badass character. He should not have taken his mask off or anything for the entire first movie. No reason for that. And certainly, like the petulant kind of emo Kylo Ren shit was a little tired.
Right. Like I don't mind the idea of when he kept his mask on and he was like, instead of being like cool and collected like Vader, he thrashes about with a lightsaber.
Like the first thrashing temper tantrum I thought was actually cool.
Right. Yeah. Where he just kind of looks over his shoulder,
harnessed the dark side yet. Because he still had the mask on, and he was just like, anything else? But see, to me, that's what was so intriguing about the Darth Vader character, is that the whole dynamic, and this is going to be really nerdy going into this, but the whole dynamic with the first movie was that, like, there's the Force out there, and when you're on the light side, it's almost like you have to let the Force act through you. Right. And the dark side was so compelling because he had so much control. Right. He was the one, he never raised his voice, he was never scared, he was never angry, like he was, control was what the dark side people are actually after. Right. And they made it the exact opposite. Right. But, like, you don't have any control with the dark side. In a lot of Star Wars
lore, they do go both ways. The dark side is either the seek for control or just power through rage,
Right. Like you're so afraid.
You're either a berserker who just...
But that's what's so cool and so intriguing about Darth Vader is that he was the ultimate...
Right.
Like, control. He had ultimate control.
The idea here, and this is what was cool to me about the Force, and I always thought like that it was never touched upon enough. The idea... I mean, of course, it's just stuff that's not expounded upon in the movies at all, but it kind of gave this vibe that, like you said, the light side part of being good is you give up the selfishness.
Right, and let the Force act through you or whatever. Instead of using the Force for your own end.
Stand in. Right. Act through you.
Right.
You
instead of saying using this power there
for
your own ends.
Instead of taking power for your own ends.
Right.
Right. And then the
having
dark side
control
is,
of it.
Right.
That's what made it the dark side all about control.
Right, yeah. And then the other side, too, is to me, what was so cool about like the idea of the Force, to me, is it wasn't just about, oh, he's strong in the Force, meaning he can move a lot of shit.
Right.
It was like, to me, it felt like, it always gave the impression that the Force was like, it just made Destiny line up for you. Like, if you had strong in the Force,
it's like the secret.
you just knew where to be to turn the tides of history.
You just sort of know things and feel things. You would be into it. It wasn't about, like, flipping through the air with your lightsaber.
Right.
Because, like, Darth Vader did very little, like, physically impressive stuff other than the Force power thing.
But, like, people bent to
his
will,
exactly,
not just because he's intimidating,
like,
but just because he had so much Force power. You have, like, an aura that things go your way.
Exactly.
You know? And, and you just, like, people dare not resist
and
you.
And just can give you intuition and stuff like that, and just power. Just
power,
yeah.
Right, yeah.
In whatever sense of that means. In whatever it means.
Yeah, exactly.
Even literal sense.
So, like, initially, like, that's the thing of the new Star Wars movie, I felt like initially
it started out
it
totally
felt pretty
badass
strong.
with his character.
His character, and also I liked the escaping stormtrooper butting up with the rebel thing, like, and leaving, like, that was all fun. And I liked the idea of a stormtrooper who goes good is mirrored by a villain who is tempted by light to
which
go
is good.
back.
I like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But they still that's irrelevant to my complaints. Like they still could have had that.
Yeah, exactly. Like to say, like still could have had that. And but yeah, like
where he really wants control, but he still feels like that.
It's like it said. Yeah, Kylo Ren got weakened when he took the mask off, and just kind of,
and not just because of that, but from that point on,
the way they portrayed him,
and the thing with the woman being like super Force power. Like I don't even care that it's a woman. It would have been stupid. Like she does still like a Force influence without ever having seen anyone do it,
right,
or anything. That's and like no one's done anything that dramatic. Like the only one, like grabbing the lightsaber is okay because they showed Luke do that in Hoth without having really been trained to do it.
Well, he'd kind of been taught that it's possible, and he'd been awoken to the Force by like Kenobi, and presumably between those movies he'd been trying to learn how to do
even
this
if he hadn't
stuff.
been trained by Yoda. But still, so that okay, whatever. Like I get that like trying something really hard, like, oh, I want that so bad. Well, let's like kick in your Force power. Right. But like specifically trying to use the Force to manipulate someone's thought without even technically, they've given the impression that she didn't believe in the Force, didn't even really know what it was, would never have known that was even a thing. Yeah, just heard stories about like wizards and stuff that like just nothing realistic. Right. But I did like the way.
But
that
I mean, that was the other thing where, like I said, what it felt to me is like the parts that made the movie weak is because it felt like they were trying to hit check boxes to make sure they made their money. And checkbox 1 was we're going to ape episode 4. Checkbox 2 will ape episode 5 and have a father face a son, light and dark side, and one of them die, or and checkbox 3 is we need a lightsaber fight in this first movie.
New Jedi
we can't have the first movie end without a lightsaber fight,
which actually wasn't in New Hope. I mean, they had the brief one with Kenobi
but it's
and Darth
really
Vader.
weak if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's really just two old men testing each other out. And then the one guy decides, you know what?
I'm gonna let this go.
I have the ultimate weapon. I can go like spirit form or whatever the shit, and like
then
go weird.
help Luke win that way or whatever.
Right. Well, and, like literally, like the idea of it being more about destiny. Now it's like a Force ghost. He literally influences destiny, not like not just winning a battle. He can like influence the galaxy.
And that I also don't think they should have had anything to do with Luke at the end. They should have just waited. It should have been because it was like an extra scene. It should have just been in the next movie.
Yeah, or it should.
That's not a big complaint. It's just
I think
weird.
It was mostly weird because it ended on like if it just ended with like him taking his hood off and you see it's Luke and then it's
But he made this weird like constipated.
But he made this weird constipated face and then they did this like awkward holding moment where I'm holding out a lightsaber.
Well, the thing circles you. Yeah,
it was just kind of weird, but okay. Like that's
not terrible. But I was like, yeah, that should have been out. That should have been cut. And so my main complaint was that they ruined what could have been a really cool character with Kylo Ren, and then the fact that they made her a little bit too just Force powerful right off the bat.
Right, but like I said, that's because
they're fighting. Like, yes, I get to do a shot with the powerful bowcast and everything, but it was still lame that because it made him not scary. The fact that exactly because I mean for whatever reason, just as a film element, it was bad because it made him not intimidating.
Right, exactly. It took what intimidation they built up in the first half of the movie and lessened it.
Right.
Like I did.
Because Darth Vader, you didn't even know what he was capable of. He was like, this dude's fucking weird, like creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so like it was just the things that made it weak to me is that, and I can't see why other people don't notice. It's just that paint by numbers aspect to it. It was like it's so blatant. You can't.
And I just feel like
people
what
feel
do you
like
think I'm a chump. Like, come on, man.
Right,
you gotta try a little harder than that.
People feel the need because they love Star Wars so much to justify it. Like they say, and like. I get it. Like I said, I'm not begrudging anybody liking the movie. Right. I was entertained throughout.
The movie. Yeah.
But I couldn't stop myself from noticing this and being a little soured on it because of it.
Right.
Even if I enjoyed it as I watched it and think it was fun. Right. You know, like fortunately, it's like riding a fun ride,
but it still seems like someone
noticing that
this happened. That's what you like, right? Okay, and that's this happened, right? Yeah, that's cool, right?
That's right, exactly.
Like, just tell me your story, and then I'll tell you if you like it or not.
No, I get it. They had to play it safe. They had to play it safe.
They had $4 billion.
This wasn't safe. This was recreating it. Like you said,
felt a little bit
line for line.
Yeah, it's just so similar that I was just like, man, they really did not go out on any
And
limbs.
where it wasn't similar, a lot of it was that shoehorned in stuff, like you said, to like, you know, she got powerful so fast, and that was literally because they needed a lightsaber fight in the first movie.
Yeah, that's really all it was.
Literally was. They wanted their Force-sensitive character to become a Jedi-esque, a Jedi apprentice in one movie.
Show figures
so they could show figures of lightsaber
and all this other stuff.
So they could sell lightsaber.
So she go to Luke and like, oh, now we're gonna train you. But I mean,
and another thing too, like, and also they had to tack on a Death Star just because. Like that was also the weakest, stupidest thing.
It could have been anything else. Another base,
not only that, like the whole crux of the movie, where they, you know, like you said, it's already copying a lot of stuff with like the droid and everything else.
Yeah.
Like taking the plans, but the whole thing is finding Luke, right?
Right.
Okay, so they could have made the plot. We got to find the map to Luke. Okay, the bad guys got it back again. Now they got her, and we got to get her out before they extract the knowledge out of her.
Or they find out, and we have to get Luke.
We got to get to Luke first
before they do.
Right. Instead,
and then there's like one ship that they have to fight with at the end, who's like about to blow up the planet that he's on, or something like that.
Right, or just attack him,
because they don't
raise the area or something, or just find him or something, you know, or find the last piece of the clue. Or even, like I said, even if they have to go into a base and get her out because she's the only person who knows, you know, like, we have the map, but she's got it in her head, and they're going to get it out of her. We got to get her.
Right.
You know, like, and so...
And then there was also just some weird shit that was like, oh, R2-D2? Oh, no, he won't have any map information. And then like, oh, R2-D2? Yeah, he has the entire rest of the map.
Right, yeah, exactly.
What the
fuck? Literally, they ended with an assault on the Death Star because they needed to end the movie with an assault on a Death Star.
Right, and that was
like
stupid.
It didn't actually affect the plot. It didn't actually
stupid.
affect the plot to beat the Death Star, other than we had to avenge that they apparently blew up Coruscant, which was weird. You know, like it came and went in half a second.
Right.
And like everyone was just like, I guess they have a Death Star.
You know what that was? It was just because, like in the first movie where they had to blow up Alderaan and show what the thing was. Like, literally, that's why. Like that happened.
And we got to show this one. And we got to show this one's cooler because it hits 5 at a time.
Right.
Or apparently from another star system away.
Right.
That was the part that really threw me out of the movie when they're on this like smuggler planet and they can see other planets exploding. It's like, is this supposed to be the same star system?
Right.
And their planet's unaffected by the sun being sucked dry.
Well, I think it didn't show them sucking a sun dry, so presumably they'd already sucked the sun dry somewhere, and we're just like floating around, charged up.
But still,
and then they're recharging.
The first Death Star couldn't shoot a planet from another star system.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now, even in the end of this movie, they had to get in range of the hero base again, just like in the first movie.
Right.
They had to move into position, but apparently they didn't have to do that for the first 5 planets. They just
across
blasted them from across.
Nothing in the way.
Right, yeah, like across.
There's nothing in the way.
They blasted them from far, far away and like nuked 5 planets simultaneously.
Yeah, some of that stuff was weak.
Yeah.
And overall, it didn't even really mess up the movie too bad in terms of just being, relatively entertaining and everything.
No, it really didn't. It just meant like I said, the really only problem was that the seams were so obvious,
right?
That
that's the best you could do.
Somebody put it very well. Like I said, it's the only movie I could ever give both a 5-star and a 0-star review at the same time.
Right.
Like I don't know if I give it 5-star personally, but I could give it like a 4-star and a 1-star at the same time because it was like very entertaining. Totally just invoked
in the way
fun
that you would take someone who was like an expert musician and be like, no, that was crap, even if they played really well, kind of thing. Because like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Look at this new thing I've made, and they start playing Leonard Skinner. You know, like, no,
or just like it's not what you could have done. You know what we could have done? You're just playing someone else's shit. Like, no, play your own stuff.
So it's bizarre. Like, it's fun, and I mean, it's made to help them launch the next series of franchises. So we'll see how that's really going to be the important.
Yeah, it was like when you see someone do a cover, like a cool band do a cover of a show, of a song, and it's just pretty much exactly the same. They don't even do like their version of it. And it's just like, all right. I mean, like, I liked it because I liked the original song, but...
Right, yeah, exactly.
All the little changes
that's the most pithy, perfect way to put it. Right. I liked the original song, so I guess the cover is cool, but...
Right, but why do I need the cover?
Right, I was hoping for a sequel than a cover.
Cover, exactly. Yeah. That's the best way to put it. It's a cover, not a sequel.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next movie has potential because of that. I don't think they'll do it again.
Right.
Because that would just be really fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, they're not gonna, if they open up the second one on Ice Planet, I swear to God, I'm walking out of there.
Right, yeah, exactly. Right. And if it ends with, Luke going, I am your father,
anybody frozen in carbonite.
Like yeah, exactly. Dear God, yeah.
Well, that's probably enough for today.
Yep, that'll do it. We're almost at an hour right now, so
perfect timing. All you people.
So our movie-centric one to start off the new year.
Oops, all movies.
Oops, all movies.
Good deal.
Catch you guys later.
Peace out.
Adios.